Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about a favorite book of mine that I wrote a long time ago. The book is called Animal Fact, Animal Fable. And this book is an illustrated book. In fact, it's illustrated by a famous artist whose name is Diane deGroat. And this is the first book that she ever illustrated. This is a kind of a guessing game book. And the guessing game is whether it's a fact or a fable. What does it mean by that? Well, let's read and find out. Here's the introduction. Many of us like to watch animals. You may have a pet dog or cat. At times, you may notice that your pet moves its tail differently when it's happy than when it's angry. After watching your pet for a long time, you can probably tell a great deal about what each kind of tail movement means. But even if you watch animals closely, it is sometimes easy to mistake what is happening. For example, a bat flutters around in an odd way in the night sky. Some people may think that bats are blind and can't see where they're going. If bats are really blind, that belief is true. It's a fact. But suppose the bat flies in that odd way for another reason, and it is not really blind. Then that belief is a fable. It's not true. In this book, we'll look at some common beliefs about animals. Guess if each belief is a fact or a fable. Then turn the page to find the answer. You'll also discover why scientists think the belief is a fact or a fable. Let's start out with the statement that I just told you. Fact or fable? Bats are blind. And look at that illustration that Diane deGroat drew on this page. It's a bunch of bats hanging from a tree, and they have white canes indicating that they're blind. Now you have to guess whether it's a fact or a fable. And if I turn the page, let's see if you're right. It says, Fable. And that's a real drawing of a bat that Diane did. In the night sky, bats seem to be blind. They fly back and forth in odd ways, but they are really catching tiny insects in the air. You can't see the insects in the darkness. You can only see the strange twisting movements of the bat. Bats use their ears as well as their eyes to find their way at night. Most kinds of bats squeak in short bursts of high-pitched sounds. The sounds echo back from objects to the bat's ears and help the bats to catch insects on the wing. Continuing on in fact and fable, now guess about whether this is a fact or a fable. Some bees sting only once. And there's a funny picture of a bee talking to his friend, and he's saying, I think it was back in July. So do you think that's a fact or a fable? And let's see. It's a fact. Many kinds of bees can sting only once. A honeybee's stinger usually has barbs on it. The barbs are like tiny hooks. The barbs catch and hold fast. The stinger breaks off and remains behind. The bee dies after it loses its stinger. A queen honeybee can sting again and again. Its stinger is long and thin and has no barbs. Male bees, called drones, have no stingers and cannot sting at all. Going on, here's the next factor fable. An owl is a wise bird. Is that a fact or a fable? Here's an owl with its report card. And let's see how the owl did. It got an A in hooting, and an A in night flying, an A in roosting, an A in nest building, and an A in mouse catching. And its report card is signed Mrs. Teach. Okay, an owl is a wise bird. Fact or fable? Fable. Some people think an owl looks wise because of its wide open eyes. And here's the way it really looks. But for a bird its size, the owl has a tiny brain. If you say a person is as wise as an owl, you're saying he's a bird brain. An owl moves its whole head when it looks around. It never moves its eyes from side to side. Its eyes are very sharp. It can see even small objects, such as mice, that are very, very far away. Well, tomorrow I will continue reading in Animal Fact, Animal Fable.